Many victims of online abuse stay silent, even when the situation becomes frightening. In this video, we'll look at why speaking up can feel so difficult, and how that silence allows these situations to grow. Sometimes, the hardest part of this blackmail isn't the threat. It's the silence that follows. The moment when someone realizes something has gone wrong, but still cannot bring themselves to tell anyone. Messages arrive, pressure builds, the situation begins to feel frightening. But instead of reaching out for help, many people try to handle it alone. And that raises important questions. Why is it so hard to tell someone when this blackmail begins? And why do so many victims stay silent, even when the situation becomes frightening? To understand why victims stay silent, it helps to understand the psychology behind the manipulation. Because it doesn't just create fear, it creates shame. Many victims believe the situation is somehow their fault. Maybe they sense something they regret. Maybe they trusted someone they shouldn't have. Maybe they said yes at the beginning. Those thoughts can become overwhelming. I should have known better. This is my mistake. I can't let anyone find out. And once those thoughts take hold, silence can begin to feel safer than telling the truth. Fear also plays a role. Some victims worry about punishment. Parents might take away phones. Access to friends might disappear. Online life might suddenly end. For teenagers especially, that can feel devastating. So the fear of losing everything becomes stronger than the instinct to ask for help. There is also the fear of disappointment. Many young people imagine the reaction before it even happens. They picture anger, judgment, or the look on someone's face when they realize what happened. That imagined moment can feel unbearable, so the secret stays hidden. And the longer the silence lasts, the heavier it becomes. Digital sexual blackmail schemes rely on exactly that silence. The people behind them understand how shame works. They know that embarrassment can keep someone quiet long enough for the situation to escalate. They know that a victim who feels alone is easier to control. But silence protects the person causing harm, not the person being targeted. That is why breaking the silence matters so much. Even a small step can change the situation. Telling a trusted adult, speaking to a parent, talking to a teacher or counsellor, reaching out to a support service. Once someone else knows what is happening, the balance of power begins to change. The person making threats loses some of their control. Because this thrives in secrecy, it weakens when the secret disappears. There is another side to this problem. For parents, understanding this dynamic is important. Many teenagers stay silent, not because they don't trust their parents, but because they fear the reaction. They worry about punishment, or about being judged. Creating a space where a teenager feels safe to speak can make an enormous difference. Sometimes that begins with simple conversations long before anything goes wrong. Conversations about mistakes, about trust, about the reality that everyone makes decisions they later regret. If a young person believes they will be supported rather than blamed, they are far more likely to speak up early. These dynamics are explored in more detail in the book Break Free From and Avoid Fear Online. The book examines how grooming, sextortion, cyberbullying, and online predators often build trust first, before applying pressure. It also offers practical guidance. What to do if something like this is already happening. How to break the cycle of secrecy. How to ask for help safely. And how families can support someone through the situation. Because recognizing the pattern is only the first step. Knowing what to do next matters even more. The most important thing to remember about this blackmail is this. The person being targeted is not the one who should feel ashamed. The responsibility belongs entirely to the person using manipulation and threats. And the moment someone speaks up, The silence that gave the situation its power begins to disappear. The moment someone else knows, the situation begins to change. Not all at once, not perfectly, but the silence is no longer protecting the wrong person. And that's where things start to shift.